It is Friday, the 10th of February, and you are watching the last edition of this week's Primetime News. Good evening, I'm Primrose Hadasis. In our lead story tonight, the Electoral Commission of Namibia has suspended 2 of its employees in connection with the disappearance of 117 laptops from its head office.
The electoral body in mid-January announced that it had registered a case with the Namibian police force following the discovery that the laptops had gone missing from its head office in Windhoek. Nampol has launched a full-scale criminal investigation into the matter, ECN Chief Electoral and Referendum Officer Theo Muyoro said in a media statement on Friday. Muyoro said the ECN has begun an internal disciplinary process involving staff members tasked with handling and managing the aforementioned laptops. He also stated that ECN will engage all sectoral stakeholders in appropriate forums to discuss the matter and that any developments in the matter will be communicated through the media.
Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, earlier today hosted an annual briefing with members of the diplomatic corps. Beatrice Nambadiko filed this insert.
A lot has been said and written about Namibia's educational system in the past weeks. And you have been following this as people who are credited to our country, both resident and non-resident. Because I believe even if I'm not a resident, but I'm accredited to that country, if there are even newspapers in that particular country, I have to subscribe so that to enable me to follow what is happening in my country of residency. We all know that education has a chain of positive effects. Education is the key, is the enabler to create employment, increase earnings, improve health, and eradicate poverty, among others. All of us sitting in this room, and I'm now using the analogy of one of our police officers who was addressing learners in one of our schools, emphasizing to them for them to appreciate the work of a teacher. And he has to say, even the president went in front of a teacher. Even me as a police officer, as he was saying, I'm here because of a teacher. All of us in this room, we are doing what we are doing because of a teacher. And that is really explaining the importance of education.
Meanwhile, the ambassador of the Democratic Republic of Congo and dean of the diplomatic corps, Anastas Kaboba Kazonga Wakimba, urged that their security be increased. Beatrice Nambadiko compiled this insert.
Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, I would like to, on behalf of my colleague, to mention just an issue. First, I would like to congratulate and thank the security. I saw the commissioner was here for the police for the security. Oh, yeah, there he is. For security provided to the diplomatic corps. We appreciate. And we like to report that some few issues occurred where I would like to call again on the police forces to increase even 1 degree again for the protection so that what happened to some of our diplomatic people continues to decline. I think on behalf of my colleagues, that's what I have to say. And once again, thank you, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister.
Moving on to educational matters, the Minister of Education, Arts and Culture, Anna Kipondoka, has urged the staff of her ministry, teachers and school heads to explain the revised curriculum to the public. Kipondoka made these remarks during her staff address for the year 2023 earlier today. Let's have a listen.
And when people are saying the curriculum is not good, you cannot stand up and say, no, this curriculum is good. But the problem is here. We should be able, and that's what accountability is all about. The curriculum is good because it does this, it gives these skills to the children. We have even introduced pre-vocational subject. We are doing this. Many children are now going for high-level subjects. Explain these things to the people to understand. So I'm talking about us to be ambassadors of our own, spokespeople of our own ministry. And where, honestly, you don't know, at least be able to say, okay, you are asking about curriculum implementation, curriculum reform, how the syllabi are. Let me refer you to Dean Niet. Let me give you Dr. Simaluba's number. May I do that?
When we return with the business segment, we'll get to find out more on China's contribution towards the development of Namibia's green energy sector. President Dr. Hage Geingob on Thursday said he expects more Chinese enterprises' participation in the development of Namibia's green energy sector, particularly the green hydrogen industry. Geingob made the remarks during his meeting with the new Chinese ambassador to Namibia, Zhao Weiping, at State House.
Namibia is ready to work with China to push forward an even greater development of bilateral relations, said President Hage Geingob, who briefed Zhao on the development of the African country's green hydrogen industry. Zhao presented his letter of credence to Geingob and hailed the achievements in Namibia's economy and social development under Geingob's leadership. China appreciates Namibia's commitment to the One China principle and its firm support for China on issues concerning China's core interests and major concerns, said Zhao.
This is a mutually beneficial relationship. We are both developing countries. Our two economies are complementary to each other, and we also enjoy traditional friendship. So both our countries want to have an even greater development of our bilateral relationship so as to bring more benefits to our two peoples.
China stands ready to work with Namibia to further strengthen political trust, firmly support each other, jointly defend multilateralism, fairness and justice, and deepen practical cooperation in various fields under the Belt and Road Initiative and the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, with a view to pushing for new progress in the China-Namibia Comprehensive Strategic Cooperative Partnership so as to deliver benefits for both countries and their people. As the 34th largest country in the world in terms of land area, Namibia has huge potential for development, Zhao said, adding the Chinese embassy will promote China-Namibia economic cooperation, closely align its work with Namibia's economic development goals and actual needs.
Manager for Strategic Communication and Stakeholder Engagements at the Namibia Revenue Agency, Tonateni Shidudu, recently announced that all second-hand vehicles in transit will be required to transit through the country only when on a car carrier trailer as of the 1st of March. Take a listen.
The amendment to the procedures of imported in-transit second-hand vehicles came as a result of deviation and dishonesty among some importers, whereby imported vehicles are dubiously declared as in transit but end up in the local market and subsequently registered with NATIS without paying the required import duties. Now, in order to curb this practice, we made the amendment to the rules or to the procedures that now require all the second-hand vehicles in transit or that are transiting through Namibia to only do so on a car carrier trailer and will not be permitted to drive on our roads or to drive on their own wheels. So these amendments are coming into effect as from the 1st of March 2023. We are just encouraging our stakeholders and the community or the public at large to familiarize themselves with these amendments. And if they have any questions, they can always approach our offices. We will be ready to guide them and provide them with all the clarifications to the questions that they are seeking to. So this is a very serious matter because we are saying that the state is losing a lot of revenue because people are declaring cars as they are in transit, but they are not in transit. They end up in the local market.
That's where we leave it with the top news for this evening. Up next is the economics roundup, followed by the weather forecast. Welcome to Sport Planet. Football leads this segment. The coach of the senior national football team, Colin Benjamin, says he will select players who are ready to go the extra mile for the upcoming 2023 African Nations Cup qualifiers against Cameroon.
Namibia, currently second in Group C, with 1 point, will face group leaders Cameroon on a home and away basis on the 20th and 28th of March in Cameroon and South Africa. In a recent interview with Nampa, Benjamin said their goal is to be one of the 2 teams that qualify for the 2023 AFCON tournament scheduled to take place in Ivory Coast. Namibia is in Group C with Cameroon and Burundi after Kenya was disqualified from the competition. He added that the players who will form part of his stronger squad must be mentally ready to go the extra mile if asked to do so. Benjamin is currently on a work trip to South Africa and Botswana, visiting Namibian players applying their trade in those countries. He said he will be announcing his professional squad for the AFCON qualifiers in the 3rd week of February.
On to school sport competitions. Senior sports officer in the Ministry of Sport, Youth and National Service, Roger Kampatuku, says his goal as the interim head of the Namibia School Sport Union is to bring back school competitions.
Kampatuku has been seconded by the ministry to act as the Namibia Sports Union National Coordinator from the 1st of February 2023. The senior sports officer, who has a vast experience, including in the Namibian Football Association Executive Committee, will be in charge of the Namibia School Sports Union operations as well as the reform process as envisaged in the Integrated Physical Education and School Sports Policy. In an interview with Nampa on Thursday, Kampatuku has said his first task in office is to communicate with all stakeholders as well as to seek solutions to bring back school competitions. Kampatuku replaces Solly Dacre, the union's longest-serving coordinator, who was suspended in October 2022 after he led a delegation of over 260 athletes to Potchefstroom, South Africa to participate in the Confederation of Southern Africa School Sports Association Games, which never took place. The team arrived at an empty stadium.
Stand by for your sports roundup. Thanks for watching. Do catch us next week for another update of local, continental and global headlines. From myself, Prime Rose Harasis, and the crew behind the scenes, have a fabulous weekend.